Late '06 MacBook, number 1. And the number 2. We'll definitely have to give one of these away. But first, we need an operating system.
Welcome to the Apple Orchard. Join myself and others collecting vintage and not so vintage Apple computers and products. Welcome to the Orchard.
This story begins here with a T6 Torx screwdriver. What we need to do is we got to replace the hard drive. So first we're going to take off the sled with these 4 screws here on our old hard drive, which is all old and burnt up. And we're going to replace it with this nice Toshiba 750 gig I have sitting there on the table. Now, it's a little big for what we need this computer for, but you know what? We're keeping this one, so I don't really care. Just make sure you drop the screws while you're doing this. Place your sled on your new hard drive, tighten the screws back up. Flip your hard drive over, and in your battery compartment area, you have the area where the hard drive goes. So you just shove it on in there, make sure it's nice and snug. Take your plastic retraction tab and make sure it's all tucked in there real nice. And ta-da! You have an installed hard drive. Take your metal retaining barrier, put it back inside the battery compartment area. And you gotta see we have this nice insulation here that we gotta make sure that's tucked in there so the RAM stays nice and cozy and that it actually has a good fit. After that, we have 3 screws. 1, 2, and 3. Well, okay, 3. And that's all it takes to reinstall your hard drive. So the next time that you want to have hard drive problems, you might want to just check it out. It might be just that easy to do it on your own. All right, last thing we're going to do is we're going to put back in our authentic MacBook battery. It looks nice and pleasing, good old aesthetics there. It doesn't work, but this isn't one we're giving away anyways. I'm keeping this one, so I don't really care. Open her up, and here we go. Mac OSX Snow Leopard, one of my favorite operating systems. We'll go through all the details later why I really like this one, but first you just gotta put it on in and let her spin on up. And we have contact. This part takes quite a bit of time for it to actually load in, just because it's loading straight off the hard drive. I have it in fast motion, so this is all gonna go quite a bit quicker for anyone else who's doing the installation live along with this video. So we'll try to make this as painless as possible. When you get to your install Mac screen, make sure you go to Utilities and to your disk utility. Now the disk we're using here is a used one. We have no idea what he used it for or where it came from or whatever else. We just know that it's working. So what we want to do is we want to go into there and gather our disk information. Now, if you happen to go out and buy a new one, you're still going to need to use this in order to format the hard drive in order for your Macintosh to be able to read it. As you can see up here where I have my arrow pointing to, we have 2 volumes on here. We got new volume and disk blah blah blah. I have no idea what that means or why it's partitioned twice, but what we're going to do is we're going to go into our erase mode. Then we're going to come down here and we're going to make sure we see here on MS-DOS FAT. We don't need that. What we need is the Mac OS Extended Journal. And then we want to go to our security options right here. Very important, very important. If you have a used drive, that is. Now, what I'd like to do is this 35 pass erase. But the last time I did that, it took 4.5 days for it to actually go through the entire cycle. So we just do the 7 pass erase. That should be good enough. And then we go to erase. Make sure that you get all of it. Ah, disk failed. I wonder what's going on here. Oh, I see why. I just picked the volume. I better pick the entire disk. That might work a little bit better this time. Okay, you can rename your disk whatever you want to right here. Make sure it's on Mac OS Extended Journal. And we go down to our 7 pass erase again. Okay, erase. And erase. Yes. And here we go. Now we're in for the marathon. This is going to take a few hours, so with the magic of YouTube and video editing, we're going to skip right over to the good part. After erasing's finished, we go back to our main install screen, and we're going to use English as our main language. And we wait for the preparations. Now this may take forever because it's booting off the disk still, but, you know, have patience. It'll show up. So here we go. Install Mac OS X. But again, at first we better check out the utilities and our disk utilities. Mainly because you just put your hard drive through a 6 to 7 hour marathon of erasing. I always like to give it another once over, just a quick format just to make sure that everything's working correctly. And finally, we're off to the actual install. So we hit continue and agree. Now you have to choose what drive we're in. Well, we'll do our untitled one we just formatted. And agree again. And now the installation finally commences. Oh, hallelujah. Happy day. Such glorious times to be an Apple enthusiast. Ooh, the Apple dance. This is my favorite part of the whole thing. This is the only time you'll ever see it is when you first reinstall or install this operating system. German Shepherd toenails on hardwood floors, extra. Is everyone doing their Apple dance? Now just fill out all the pertinent information that you need. The next thing we need to do is get this thing ready for everyday use. It's late March of 2017, and granted these are a little slow, but they still work with pretty much everything that you need. YouTube works on them, not the highest resolution, but we'll show you how to make that happen. And I use these basically every day, so I really don't have a problem with them. Granted, they are 10 years old plus, but the first thing we need to do is update. If you didn't catch it, in the upper left-hand corner, there's the Apple symbol. You pull down to Software Updates, and you start updating. Right, AppleCat? And the marathon begins. Update, 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 update. And, of course, Adobe's out of date. So this is kind of important, at least so it works best for me. You have to actually go in and select that you're picking out for Safari and Firefox, not the Opera and Chromium. Just because we'll be installing Firefox later, that's the latest web browser you can get for Snow Leopard. So install, okay, and installing. More excitement. AppleCat, do you approve of Firefox? Yep, we need to have you move here. I think Mr. AppleCat approves. Just follow the directions on the screen for the rest of your install, and then run your install to get it working. Next, we want to get Firefox in here. The most important thing that we need for basically any computer nowadays, everything's off the internet. So we need to go into our Safari, go to Firefox 48.0.2 Mac, and it'll just pop up. There you go, Mac download. And you will see here that we have the directory listings. You want the one that says pub on there. The pub one always works. I'm not sure why, but that's the one I always choose. Now we have to make sure we get Mac, not any of these other Windows or strange ones. And make sure you get the English US version. You don't want the Great Britain or Canadian versions, you just want the US version. And then download the DMG file. And then click on to start it up. Grab it and pull it into your applications. We'll copy into the applications. Then we need to actually go into your applications folder. And you'll see that has a big circle with the line through it. That doesn't mean anything. It just means you haven't started it yet. So start that one up. And click on Do Not Add in any extra information. And here's your tip of the day. Hold down the control key before you hit the button. It's like right-clicking on a mouse, which will give you the option to keep your Firefox icon in the dock. Right, cat? I think what the Apple Cat wants is us to give away one of these late 06 MacBooks, which I know he does. First off, winner pays all shipping charges. Again, the winner will pay all shipping charges. But in order to win, you need to like, subscribe to this channel, comment below if you like, loathe, or love Apple computers, vintage or not so vintage, and also share this video on your personal social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We'll have the drawing on April 15th, right before Easter of 2017. Again, April 15th, we'll have the drawing. We'll try to do it live. I'm not quite sure how to do that yet, but, you know, it's a good time to take an attempt. If not, the video will post that night, where we'll have the winner of a late 06 MacBook.
You helping Dad fix the apples? This is how you do it, huh?
Groovy.